Hello, everyone, and welcome to our episode of the Fintech Garden. And today we're going to discuss a pretty hot topic, the blueprint for AI native fintechs. So, hello, Dumitru, and welcome to our studio. And what do you think about this topic?
Hello, Igor. Nice to meet you. This topic is a very unique topic because imagine that you have a house. You have a good house, but already built it, already maybe even old, and you want to install smart home things, features in your home. So what you'll do, you'll just try to play with different gadgets. You'll start to play with different applications, with different features, and everything will be a little bit of mess. You'll have to jump from one functionality to another every time you need to, I don't know, to check how is your, I don't know, camera is working or if the lights are on or not. You have to jump between applications and so on. This example shows how already established, well-established business with not foots on the ground but roots in the ground, how they try to work with AI. They try to to lay over everything they have, all the process. They try to lay over the AI. When new businesses, new entities, new companies, new products, they have the advantage of building in the AI from the start, like building a new home with already smart home features integrated, not everything under a single roof, I mean application or something like this. This is where we'll discuss it today, and what we will with what topics we'll play today.
AI native fintechs, it's not about the smarter tools, but about the smarter foundation. And imagine if the intelligence is built in but not bolted on.
If you insert in the foundations nowadays in the current fintech products, you insert in the foundations, insert AI, it gives you total different value, a total different perspective, and a total different push in the market than good old fintech or finance business that already exists on the market. Good example is the old banks with new banks or neobanks, old finance business, I mean, not old school, but finance business from old Europe, like doing banks and so on. Because today the neobanks are inserting AI in their applications, for example, like Klarna or other products. So most of the people, when in product management, when you're talking about AI, first of all, what they're thinking is about optimizing time for taking some decisions, and maybe KB or KC. Optimizing time for taking decisions means you can insert AI in scoring process. Well, to be honest, here is not so much AI. It's more like machine learning. It's algorithms. It's patterns that you basically are inserting in the code. But anyways, second is the KB process, which I already mentioned that, yeah, AI can handle the KB process fully today. We have some interesting products on the market, like some sub or other products that they can do this by themselves. And the third thing, what is helping people, helping them, people are thinking about AI when they're speaking about product features in fintech, is risk management, because it's close to the scoring. It's risk management because if you have a very well established open banking system in a country, where banks are communicating via a state platform, communicating with each other, exchanging information, some kind of a bank ID or wherever. It helps you to identify red flags or yellow flags and to evaluate risk very, very quickly. And this is also with help of AI. Well, a mix of AI and good old machine learning, stuff like this. If this gave you something practical to think about, don't let's stop it here. Subscribe for more episodes that go beyond the buzzwords. Leave a comment with your perspective and share this with someone who builds, not just watches. Let's keep fintech honest, sharp, and useful.
So good. Thank you for describing high level. And usually I'm trying once again to slice the topic and understand how we can go with it. So it's really good analogy about the house and the gadget. Maybe we can potentially improve it because it's not maybe an additional functionality. For me, it's like electricity or the water. Because if you designed the castle, I don't know, in the Middle Ages, which didn't have the water pipes, then it's harder to put them into the structure of the building. So for me, it feels kind of the same. And what do you think? Like, what are the rules or what we need to think as a product managers or the technical team or even the business teams that we need to architect in or blueprint in for making sure that our product will be AI native?
Very good question. To consider a fintech product with being an AI, so the AI is embedded in a fintech product, you need first and the single one is to cover all decisions, all the process with data. To be more specific, to cover all decisions and everything you have with automatical data driving decisions. So somewhere a human operator or a human will take a decision with being advised by AI with automatic metrics, and AI will know by some patterns, will know what kind of information to bring you up to the table in the moment when you start to think only about this. KAC, what I mentioned already, or KAB, which is a very important because it optimizes the time, minimizing the budget expenses, so you don't need so much personnel. Even maybe the AI in writing the code in the tech teams with Copilot and so on. Well, at least right now we see it's still 90% human operating, but yeah, it's a start already. So this is what I think AI in AI embedded finance fintech product is called.
In this case, my analogy will be maybe Formula One racing, because that's kind of the business which is trying to optimize whatever they have, because the time for changing the tire or maintenance is really important. And for improving something, you need to understand how it works. So I would say that to build an AI native, but also the business optimization native, you need to see what is really happening with your business. And for this, the architecture design, the system design should be built that you're properly collecting required data, not only for the success path, but also for the fail path. Because I don't know, coming from engineering perspective, I see how a lot of companies not collecting the data about what is happening in the system, right? And then they don't have a possibility to make proper decisions because they don't have visibility what is happening. Like when someone is failing KYC, you might not get a proper status, or you might not save the documents, or you might lose a lot of really valuable information that allows you to do additional checks, analytics, and then understand how to improve your business. Because I don't know, we're losing 20% of the KYC checks because there is some glare on the photo. Do we have this photo from our KYC vendor? Are we analyzing them additionally? So building AI native, in my understanding, is being data driven first. And for being data driven first, you need to collect and properly design the system, because there is a book actually which is called Dark Numbers or Dark Matter. I need to take a look after the episode. But actually, it starts with a really good explanation that as a human, we are really bad with the decisions, like by nature. And usually we are making decisions based on the information that we have. But there are a lot of cases where it's important to understand what information we don't have, because and it quite overlaps with my understanding AI native. Because if you're building something which has been designed before, I don't know, 20 years ago, in this case, you might miss a lot of information how your customers are behaving, what is happening with the third party vendors. Really simple example, downtime for the vendors. Usually the systems are not collecting this information, so you cannot predict what is happening with a specific region with the third party. Like, "Oh, it just went down. We just, I don't know, put some message that our system is not performing well." But if you collecting this information on a regular basis, then you can actually predict what is happening and when the vendor is going down. You can build the system which is rerouting a specific vendor to another one. You can automatically detect and then do the actions on your system, depend on those information. So I think that's really good. Once again, example with the castle and built-in pipes for the water. So if the building was designed before data collection, or understanding that data collection is important, it's really hard to build in once again.
By the way, I was thinking that the example you gave with collecting the data is I think the root of this is a good old story from the Second World War when English
Yeah,
planes came back with
yeah,
and and have to understood what part of this plane they have to cover. Coming back to the old castle,
yeah.
so companies already with foot on the ground or even roots in the ground. What do you think from where they have to start? So they have to be in trend. They have to be in the business line. They want to continue to grow and to keep the market.
Yeah.
So from where they have to start if they want to embed AI into the
But that's a topic maybe for a couple of hours,
yes.
which we don't have today. To be short, I think you need to start with a proper team structure and proper authority for the change management, because what I've seen in organizations that has been already on the market, they usually have quite wishful thinking to change the things, but then in reality they're not proper giving and structuring the engineering team like into the modern approach with the squads, with the end-to-end, even possibility to change the product, because they might block with the, oh, no, 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 compliance will not give us an ability to change anything, how we collect the data, how we store the data. Or, no, 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 we cannot do this because the business model works, and then we are not really sure that any changes in digital product will not affect that. So proper team with the proper authority and the real appetite and real willingness to change the things. And then after that, the proper teams, they will do the things. They might not get it from the first time, but they will be more competitive and more advanced with the getting the things more modern way than it was used to before.
It's better to call it not a team with proper authority, but a team with a carte blanche for making changes.
Carte blanche sounds really scary for the
Yeah,
business, I
but
would say.
okay, but yeah. Anyways, I think you're totally right, and I agree. I'm agreeing with you that this is very important. I'm also start to think that currently, right now, I even I'm me in my practice, we embed AI, for example, in KC or in the risk prevention and fraud detection, and there is this term like false positive.
Yeah.
More and more, all of us we are facing with this situations of false positive situations when a credit risk is not well evaluated and not well evaluated. I mean, it doesn't generate additional risk. We don't onboard people who are a bad loaners. We do not accept people who can be a good debitors for us, but we don't accept because AI. I mean, this classical thing of false positive. And here comes a very ethical question: what kind of compliance we have to build for AI taking decisions on this thing and this topic? I think right now we are on the market on the period of Wild West here.
That's true.
We'll see a lot of mistakes. Maybe we will see even companies who will go to bankruptcy because of such bad situations where AI will take very bad decisions. And most of the situation will be where not only one decision will lead to bankruptcy or a fail, but a chain of a lot of mistakes. Once again, the example of 2008 with what
Hmm.
happened in America. But in one moment, we will come to this. And I think it's quite interesting and good time now to raise this question of ethical part.
Hmm.
In my opinion, I think we have to automatize it like full, but give the last decision to be made by a human operator, and a human operator also to make a KAB. Of course, it will decrease the speed of onboarding. It will maybe it will increase the acceptance rate for those for incoming calls for credits, for example, but it will give a more qualitative impact because a business model, a business AI model can take consider that a person is subprime or near
Hmm.
prime segment when he's a prime segment because and only because he's working in a JG economy and not he's not or she is not fully on board as FTA, for example.
Hmm.
What do you think about ethical part of this?
Once again, I'm circling back to the data, because I was thinking while you been highlighting these issues, ethical issues, I'm thinking about like practical level. What does it mean? So let's talk about the usual integration with the institution, which is onboarding customers, doing some KYC, and then making some decisions. And the usual workflow is that you're collecting like some preliminary information about the customer, like email, phone, doing the second factor authentication. So okay, that's a real person. That's potentially Igor, who has an access to the phone number with the SMS access, etc., etc. But what happened next, I think, is a big issue for AI native applications, because the moment that initial information is collected, the customer is redirected to the KYC vendor, and all the almost like 80% of the data collection about on which device the customer is working, the photo goes directly to the KYC vendor. The liveness check potentially goes, and not even potentially, but usually like 100% time, the liveness goes directly, because that's a bulky video that you need to store somewhere. And the companies that outsourcing not just the service as KYC, but also they given a possibility to get all the information about the customer without saving locally. And I've seen a lot of businesses which were saying, yeah, someday we might want information about our customers, but then you technically you have almost zero information what were happening during the KYC. And actually that goes back to ethical question. You don't know nothing what happens on their side. You don't have the data. You don't have the knowledge about the algorithm that they're using. So usually like the simple KYC that you can think, it works the way that the customer is collected with the different data as documents, as liveness check, as additional information for the questions like where you use, I don't know, registered address, country, etc., etc. The clean data comes back to you. But all the dirty data, which has the most useful information, is staying there, and a lot of companies saying, yeah, someday we will come back and we will get it. But be aware that algorithm, how the company is processing the data might be already altered, because how the company checked customers as a KYC 1 year ago is not the same as a today. So by even getting the same data from the customer, it might be treated differently, and you don't know anything about that, because the answer is clean the data and some kind of the value from 0 to 1, like I don't know, the rate for accepting the person is 0.7. But what exactly it means? Do we know what exactly has been checked? What information increased the rating for the customer and what decreased? Like Android device, is it decreasing or increasing? The specific location is increasing and decreasing? Was it coded properly? So I think the ethical side of the compliance and KYC and other processes, they heavily rely on the data, and sometimes company have no clue how this data is collected, how this data is stored, how this data is properly and processed. And what we get is a end final result, which we really rely as a company to make really, really impactful decisions, like giving the credit, opening an account, providing access to the specific function. And I think the companies need to understand they should be in control of their services. They need to be in control over how the data is collected, how the data is processed by the third parties. DORA is actually driving a lot of it, because DORA, as a compliance, actually requiring at least highlight which are critical parts of your system you're using, you're outsourcing, how they managing the data, are they DORA compliant? Because fairly, if you will go nowadays through the fintech application, you find out that there are dozens of different vendors that potentially might not be DORA compliant. And we don't know how they manage in the data. So actually, it's really deep technical question on my side, because it's not about the ethical. It's about how we collect and how we process the data.
Well, with collecting the data, we have already some good frameworks, legal frameworks,
Yeah.
GDPR, and so on. So here we are good. The problem is all the time in the fact that people who are working in compliance department, or people who are working customer service, customer support department, in the moment when you put AI in charge of different processes, they start to be, okay, let's say lazy a little bit, because they start to shut down some of the brain activities like, do I need to check something in addition or not? You just take calm because AI is solving this.
But that's a good moment, because I'm always trying to design the business processes which are dump protected. Because in any process, it's not even about the fintechs.
Yes.
There is always the case when someone can misuse the
Yes.
system. So it should not rely on AI like that the person is motivated, but it should be designed the way that even unmotivated person is doing the proper things.
I call this to put some blockers into the process.
Yeah.
I had this discussion with several managers telling them like it's good to put blockers. Yes, but the flow will stop. We will not have big speed. No, no, no. Yes, that's correct. But it sometimes is better to stop, to block some of the things, to create some artificial bottlenecks only for checkings. And when this works, you'll got all the reflexes you got all the reflexes to work to do it very very quickly even with those bottlenecks. But if coming back to AI, I saw situations when people are relying on AI
Hmm.
and relying so much that they are like overestimating it.
Hmm.
Sometimes they are working in applying continuous delivery, continuous improvement logic. They are all the time building new patterns, adding new patterns, new trying to work with AI, learning it, but depending too much on AI because
Hmm.
they are the question, like as you said, like what kind of a data you don't see. I mean, you see at the end in the KC file, you see name, surname of a person, the salary or incoming range. But do you see if this person is, I don't know, and marital status? Very often it's important, but we don't see how old are his or her parents, what's the situation of their parents, because sometimes we gather this via the same banking, open banking, or maybe some in parallel
Hmm.
other things. Maybe we can make a match between him or her and his parents that are also customers of our product. We don't make this match, as you specifically said, with the data we don't see, we don't
Yeah.
gather. So this is a very very important thing to put process, to build process in the way that we will not stop, we will not be lazy, and human operators will check AI all the time.
And maybe another case that I would like to highlight and maybe discuss with you, is it AI natively built fintechs or not? The huge part of AI is natural language processing.
Mhm.
And during the Stripe sessions this year, Zuckerberg highlighted really interesting topic that for certain companies like Facebook, having the customer support was not possible because the cost of the support is really big. Like having people doing something as a customer support, answering sometimes not really bright questions, is cost too much. But with the AI, actually ability to understand what is asked and potentially answer the correct way is really, really good. And Zuckerberg highlighted that for Facebook, potentially it's going to be possible to introduce the customer support, which is going to be hybrid. Like 80% of the time or 90, the AI will work with you and will try to answer your questions. That's a question how good it will work. But anyway, and then he said that if you cover 90% of the requests, then for you it's feasible to have the team of human customer support who will work on those 10% cases which cannot be covered with AI. And is it AI native or not? Because in this case, for me, it sounds that AI enables something which was not possible before. I don't know. You cannot have the personal wealth manager within your banking application because it costs too much. Like you cannot have a person who is helping you to understand how your money is flowing, how you can save, what is your budget, and whatever. Imagine if 90% of the understanding or like data driven can be done by AI collecting proper modeling and saying, okay, you potentially might save here and there if you don't go to bar on Fridays and do not gamble on Saturday nights. So, and then additionally adding a hybrid like layer with the humans who will help you with more sophisticated questions. Is it AI native or not?
I think it's bad we don't have a real Sheldon from Big Bang Theory who will manage your budget as for Raj, as he did for Raj, because this is a AI embedded human being, you know.
Yeah.
Facebook. We see already inceptions of this with meta search in
Yeah.
all the meta applications. Second, it's AI native. I'm sure it's AI native, but depend how you slice it. So if we slice as a customer service alone, as a standalone part of it from this business, it's not AI native because basically we had no customer support. By the way, it's a very interesting case. We had no customer support because it's very very expensive. We added AI because Usually people when saying AI means optimizations. I mean, even myself. I did the optimization so way that I hired 10 new people
Mhm.
for customer support. But for the product itself as a Facebook or WhatsApp, specifically Facebook, it's AI native. So customer support is AI native. Why? Solving Pareto's thing, yes, solving 80-90% of the cases of our customers give us a retention rate, an increased retention rate.
Mhm.
It means that not customer support is AI native, but retention process is AI native because everything rest will be handled by people. And this means that we will not I mean, and that in that moment when it start to handle by people, it start to be full customer support till the moment when a person takes this is a retention process. And
Mhm.
then, yes, it's regarding retention, it's a full AI native. But Zuckerberg is right here. Of course, he anticipates a lot of things. He anticipated even in the past some things that will happen. Sometimes he made the steps far front, in far earlier.
Ahead of time. Yeah.
Yes, but here he is totally right. AI will also, in the moment when we will start to implement AI, it will open new horizons. And a lot of people are frightened by AI, like we will lose jobs because AI can take jobs. Here's the situation with Facebook that AI generates new jobs. And it's
Yeah.
absolutely interesting how it will develop.
So I think we can say the closing phrases. It was a really hot topic that we discussed, and thank you for joining today. It was really deep and interesting discussion from several levels, from ethics of AI, from building the data flow and understanding the use cases. So please subscribe to our channel, follow us on the social networks. Thank you for joining and listening this episode. Thank you, Dima.
Thank you very much, and I recommend to watch Terminator in case if you are frightened about raising of AI. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.